We're going to be talking about how to get your first data science or digital marketing analytics internship. Hi, my name is Will, and I've spent 8 years working in data analytics and digital marketing at various agencies. For the first 5 years, I worked at a top performance marketing agency in my state. It was constantly growing and getting better and getting larger and more prominent, famous clients. And I got my foot in the door in that agency. I've mentored multiple interns at that company because we had an internship program. And now I'm at another agency working for even more awesome clients. And I've worked there for 3 years now as a digital marketing senior data analyst. And so let's just get right into the topic. I'm going to give you 3 major tips that you can use to really level up and succeed and get that internship. So I'm not going to cover how important that internship is because I assume you already know, but it is killer for not only building skills that are marketable for future jobs, but also getting your foot in the door into a place that could lead to a job and getting experience and skills you could put on your resume. So I won't overemphasize that because you probably already know watching this video, but I will tell you that correlates with the first tip, which is you got to be persistent and keep trying. There are people who have applied to the same company or agency multiple times and have gotten in. I am one of those people. So do not be discouraged if your persistence doesn't pay off initially. Maybe your first application fails. Guess what? I was one of those. I applied again, and that's how you can get another thing, because guess what? A lot of these programs, they have multiple rounds of need throughout the year. Maybe one season they need a group and that cohort gets filled, but now there are empty slots again the next year. So if you keep trying and just being persistent with it, even at the same company, I think you just like double your chances, maybe triple them. Most people, if they get rejected, they just kind of move on from that organization. That's a bad move. Maybe they just were really down to the wire, and you were just one of the few people that didn't make it this time, but then next time things opened up again and then you're at the top of the list. So follow up with them. Some companies maybe, it depends on the company, but they may have some type of HR system, and maybe after you're marked as rejected, you're still stuck there. And maybe that's what you're thinking in your head. If that's the case, take ownership, take initiative, send an email to them and say, hey, it's so bad that I didn't make it. Can you consider me for the next time? And you'll be surprised. Sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, for sure, I almost forgot. And then they move you out of that rejected into the next season's candidates, and boom, you're in the running again. So I think that's a major hack. But how else can you be persistent and really grow? Well, if you are rejected, you can actually ask, what was I missing? What did I do wrong? And you do it respectfully, because unfortunately, some companies and employers are scared of offending you, or they don't want to come off politically incorrect or unlawful or something like that. So they won't tell you. But I'll say for sure, I've done it a few times. Some of them won't respond. Some of them say they can't tell me, but some of them will give me some thoughtful, respectful tips on pieces of experience I'm missing or pieces of hard skills I'm missing. And the beauty of an internship is you're typically competing against other people. I would assume students, but sometimes older adults can also apply. And these people have basically no real experience. I mean, really, they have not much. Sure, they may have taken a few classes, but that's very theoretical. They don't even have a degree in the field yet. So your competition's lighter than you think. And so typically, the difference between the people who actually get that internship and then the next group who don't, if you actually examine it and look into it, you can actually, figure that out. And it's usually nothing spectacular, but they did put more effort into it. So maybe they started their own YouTube channel and they ran a bunch of numbers and analytics from their YouTube analytics, and then they plotted that into different visualizations. Probably would have taken a week or two to learn. I mean, many people have probably put more dedication into a video game like League of Legends for 2 weeks. So if you can do something like that, you're way ahead of the crowd, you know. So just by going the extra mile, it really pays off. I'm telling you, I have screened a lot of internship applications, so it's not like I haven't seen it from the other side of the table. And that leads us to point number two, which is, you know, you take the initiative to get those skills, but also you need to take the initiative to find out what you're missing. And I'm going to give you a little secret tip that by the end of this video, you'll have a way of getting all that information and networking with these people much faster. So this is a LinkedIn tip. I've mentioned it in other videos, and I do want to give credit to Ramit Sethi, who introduced this to me. And he actually goes into a lot more detail about it and other content. But the basic idea here is almost anyone you really want to meet in this field who's worth something has a LinkedIn. They post their job titles there, their companies, and so forth. So you have all this access in your fingertips to send a friend request connection on LinkedIn. And then once you add them, you can message them and then, you know, pitch to meet for a quick 10-minute coffee, informational interview. Ideally in person, because you can build relationships better that way, but otherwise virtually or on the phone. And keep it short, keep it punchy, have questions prepared that are impactful. And you can learn a lot. So who should you aim for? Who should you reach out to? And just keep in mind, set expectations, just to set expectations, the response rate for these cold messages to people is kind of low. Like I would say only a fraction accept my friend request, and then a very small fraction, maybe, you know, less than 5% actually respond. But that's the volume you have to put out, and that's what I did to really, you know, get a lot of informational interviews over the years. And you know, testing the message, keeping it short, punchy, and, you know, personalized really helps. And essentially by doing all these things, you can really figure out and pinpoint what you're missing. So I would actually aim for people who either got the internship you wanted, or, you know, one step after that, got a job, an entry-level job after the internship, or basically anyone along that route. It could be a manager who got the internship 7 years ago and then he got promoted multiple times. The key is they've all gotten that internship. And then when you interview them, man, I just got a lot of respect for a lot of these people, because guess what? Most of them have that dog in them. They have that extra hunger and initiative to go the extra mile. And when you really ask them how they were able to get that over the competition, a lot of the times it was not, you know, just doing the bare minimum and the average. They did something extra, something special. They built their own project. They have this, you know, energy to not give up, the right success-minded traits. And when I was like learning a lot about this, I actually got a lot of respect for a lot of them. Probably some of my favorite internship interviews I did was back in the day where I was actually interviewing a bunch of people who had gotten an internship with Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show. They actually have a program around that. It's named something very special. But, you know, I interviewed a couple of the people who were willing to talk to me on the phone about it. And yeah, a lot of respect for them. They have a lot of dog and hunger in them. And I'm not saying that they were like, you know, the hardest working people on earth, but you could tell that they did extra things, extra small projects. They had initiatives to sometimes reapply to that internship like 10 times. So, you know, they didn't give up after the first, second, or third rejection. So it really speaks to why they succeeded. And you have to go out there to your industry, your specific job title, your specific job company that you want as a dream job. And you got to find out what is it you're missing, what's that secret sauce, what's that specific thing, and then get that and then apply. I can't tell you what it is because it's dependent on the position and the company and so forth. For analytics stuff, it's typically going to be like you're going to need some level of real world experience, even if it's your own projects, samples that, you know, of certain tools and skills that you need to succeed. So there's common stuff that, you know, if you do a little informational interviewing, you need to find out, but you can't be lazy about it. And then the third and final tip I have for you, if you want an internship for digital marketing or data analytics, is do some of your own work. Now, this could be your own work in the sense of building your own website, your YouTube channel, social media, trying to grow that. Or doing free marketing for someone else and getting results. Now, this is not easy to say, but it's certainly something that most people don't do when they're applying, and it will really help you stick out. Guess what helped me stick out in my first application that got me my first job? It was the fact that as a kid, I loved this video game. It was this, fun child's video game, and I grew a blog using search engine optimization to millions of site visits through this video game because I was creating some of the best content on the web around it, and I did link building and all these other SEO tactics. And I could speak to that and I could prove it, and they believed me. And so that's another piece to it. Not only do you have to claim that you have this stuff to stand out, but you have to back it up. A lot of these employers can sniff out liars. There's, people lie all the time, unfortunately. And so the last thing they want is to, hire someone who claims to have all this stuff but doesn't. And you don't have to be a rock star and have millions of page visits. Frankly, I think they would have still been impressed, probably somewhat equally, if I had built that blog to 50,000 page visits and did that through SEO and all this other stuff. So it really depends on the job you're going for. If it's a digital marketing job, then you probably want to do SEO or do some advertising, and you can do some of it for free. Offer it. Just cold pitch a bunch of local businesses and say I'd be willing to work for free. I've studied advertising. Maybe even volunteer to use some of your own ad money, maybe for your own product or website or something else. But having those small projects that you can speak to show that you have real experience and skills and you took that initiative, it's going to set you apart from most people who are doing the laziest option, which is they wait until the last deadline of the internship application process and then they frantically pull together a lazy resume and then they just send it hoping that they'll be accepted, and there's nothing remarkable that helps them stand out. So really, when you think about it, the competition is lower than you think, and you just got to identify the things you want. Once again, I'm not saying I'm an expert at this, but I am saying I am in this field. I have seen both sides of the hiring table as the hiring interviewer as well as the person sitting on the other end trying to sell myself. So hopefully these tips I imparted on you will be helpful. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with them? Do you disagree? If you have some additional tips that will be positive and benefit this community and help us all, please, even I myself am always looking to learn, leave some tips, and then hit that subscribe button and join my free email newsletter down below where you'll get even more exclusive tips on how to get a job in this field. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.